1, 2, 1, 2, 2,
Sorry,
1,
space.
2.
Thank you, thank you.
You can't whisper. Can we start? Can we all gather around, please? Come closer. Don't be afraid to stand.
We don't
It's
bite.
still morning. We have energy.
I said we don't bite.
Gather around us. Thank you. All right, perfect. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. For the first open rehearsal of Inside Lies Mind, looking for character. Görkem, could you take position 1, please? I just wanted to go through the characters one more time, just so everybody refreshes their memory. All right, so we begin with Okay, Lai, darling, you're not a typical main character. You're struggling with tons of anxiety and spending most of your time alone. In that time, you're inhabited with 3 powerful voices. So that's you. Voice 1. Voice 1, you're Anouk. You're all about somatic practices, holistic knowledges and rituals. You're an actress yourself, and you sympathize with the questions that Lai has regarding her doubts, around the transformation into character, the performance of the self. Yeah? Okay. Voice 2. Renata. You, my darling. You are a professor, doctor in psychology. You tend to give everyone lectures. And you respond to questions in formal sentences, and you just love to quote, don't you? All right, voice 3, Augusto.
Thank you.
You are a young wannabe social activist. You're pushing Lai to think more collectively.
Gotcha. Yeah.
To form alliances with the 3 voices instead of being stuck in a world of her own making. Yeah. Are we set?
Mm-hmm.
Should we maybe just take a moment to arrive in the space? Yeah?
Yeah, let's
warm
do
up
that.
a little bit. Everyone's welcome to join. Gonna do a little breathing exercise. And we're gonna start balancing from the front, the toes, to the heels. Inhale toes, exhale heels. And now we're gonna inhale and bring our arms up. When we exhale, let everything fall down. Let's do this one more time. Inhale up. And exhale down. Feel better?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so remember, when we're gonna perform this in Paris next month, we're gonna have the fabrics hanging. Yeah, so you're behind the fabrics, and before you say your first lines, you take your heads through the slit, you appear. So you've been hiding actually this entire time. You appear, only your head, you say your first lines, and then the second time you come, you can come out of that. Yeah?
Wait, sorry.
So basically your positions now, so where you were, you'll have a fabric in front of you. The slit at the height of your face. Yeah. Yeah? Like here. All right. Let's give it a try. Bye. You know what to do. I watched Mom die again. I watched as she repeated the act of dying on stage. As Regina Morti, choking on a chicken bone. As Regina Morti being lobotomized. As Regina Morti being shot and fallen to the ground. As Regina Morti committing suicide by stabbing herself with a roast beef knife. For anybody else would find comedy in this compilations of events, the Regina Morti, an exuberant opera singer, madly in love with a gay actor who she visits on his deathbed, accompanied by a cast of troublesome characters, progressing through the play, an absurd scene after the other.
Not everyone's mothers is like this, you know.
I know. I mean, I know now. I mean, I didn't think it was that different, you know, before I saw the play. I was mostly just watching the costumes, and I mean, my mom really also liked to get dressed even outside of the theater, so I didn't think they was going to be that different.
That somehow reminds me of an interview Pedro Almodovar gave, in which he describes his female characters as, and I quote, someone who is alone, who does not have any particular goal, and who is always close to a state of crisis, is exceptionally available. Anything can happen to her. And she's therefore an ideal character for telling a story.
Mother as Regina in crisis. Mother as mom in crisis, aware her child's pain. A child, spectator of a mother's crisis, performing a character's crisis. What a story indeed.
Repetitions of motifs of deaths, motherhood, and performances, on screen, on stage, and in the real life of characters and those who enact them.
Just as in All About My Mother, whom Almodovar dedicated, and here I quote again, to all actresses that have played actresses, to all women who act, to men who act and become women, to all people who want to be mothers, to my mother.
Nice, nice, nice. So here in the performance of voice, we'll be reading from the speakers. I'll be that voice now for you. The relation, no. The the relation between the imaginary and the real will be one of exchanges, not of oppositions.
It is the identity of the characters themselves which disappear. Their connection to a real which once held them and is now evading. Each reoccurrence of their identities erases them a little bit more, shattering a constrained version of selves.
As I watch the Queen of Death, Regina, Mother, my Queen, this time returning on my screen, I witness a gap, a hole, a void. I can never mourn her again, as this one who fills the gap. Who then? Who will replace this projection?
Lie. You watch repeatedly, listened with great attention. It is your time to echo. Is your own encore, an iteration, a paraphrase of yourself.
Not bad, not bad. Can we move on to the next scene? Yeah? Can we switch roles? Yeah, sure. Okay, you
What, me?
take Lai's position.
you want-
Görkem, can you move
Yeah,
to
let's try
position
it out.
2? Yeah, okay, great.
Do you mind holding this for me? Thank you.
You know, you can play any character. They're all equal.
I know we're all equal, but you know, you can play anything except your own life. I mean, that's the thing that's forbidden.
What does this rehearsal bring? What does the reiteration do to you? Is it a practice of introspection? Are you inviting us in your process of creating yourself? Wait. Are you inviting us to your process of creating yourself?
Would you like our input? Would you like to better yourself? Would you like to expand, to grow?
Don't just replicate, evolve.
Don't just reappear, renew.
May we come in? Do you want to be changed? Don't get lost in the chant. Follow your path. Fight for survival in this reconditioning, a transferal of past knowledges, a reset of spontaneous responses, a transplant of réplique.
Yes, lie. Forget your lines. We will kill you. No need for your repeatee. You are your doubles if you let us. Making revolution also means breaking your internal chains.
I forgot.
If your rehearsal... If your rehearsal is not an act of revolution, you will end up losing yourself in the muddy ground of reality. A cop sleeps inside each one of us. We must kill him. Drive the cop out of your head.
Don't you want to find answers?
Yes.
The walls have ears and your ears have walls.
Don't you want for yourself to change?
Can you perform your character once you leave the stage? Can you keep this rehearsal going?
Don't just leave the transformation of your acted stage part of life. Improvise your revolution. Huh? Total public and private revolution.
We move to part 3. Görkem, can you move the camera, please?
Excuse me.
Lights change.
Pardon. Thank you very much.
May we come in?
Don't you want to find the answers?
Are you inviting us into your process of creating yourself?
What did the reiteration mean to you?
Don't just repeat, renew.
Don't you want to find answers?
May we come in?
What did the reiteration
Your
do to
ears
you?
A
have
cop
walls.
sleeps inside of all of us.
A cop sleeps inside all
The
of
walls
us.
have
I
ears
believe
and
the
your ears
presence
have
of
walls.
interaction.
Inside all
We
of
must
us.
kill
Yes,
him.
A cop
Don't you
sleeps
want to be
inside
the
all of us.
Our
A
input?
cop sleeps
You
inside
want
all of
input?
us. Don't just
You like
repeat,
better
renew.
yourself?
Don't just
Would you like
repeat,
to
renew.
experiment?
Don't just
Bro?
repeat, renew. Don't just repeat, renew. Don't just repeat, renew.
Not like that. We went over this. It's your struggle. Your internal struggle. You're trying to escape. You're trying to escape them. Look, like this. I guess it's something else that, other people when they drown their anxiety in alcohol and in drugs or in pills or, I don't know, meditation, or I guess it's a form of emptying oneself whilst filling oneself with something else. It's like replacing the weights with something else. It's that something else can have a totally different substance than the original one, which, again, what is anxiety made of? But instead of filling myself with other substances, I do something which nearly gives me an out-of-body experience, and really, like, after I do it, like, my legs are shaking and, like, my heart is beating. Like, it's not so much about the speed, but it's the rhythm. It's different. It's like, it's a bit enchanted. And it feels just lifted up. And then, I release the frown. I don't know if I enjoy, but I definitely release something. And the only way I do that is by screaming off the top of my lungs. I'm replacing that weight, that space. I'm filling it with sound, filling it with as much sound as I possibly can, as much sound to the point where the top of my throat is tingly and my legs are shaking, and it's almost feeling like I can always hear two voices. It's not like when you shout at someone or about something and then you're hearing your own voice and it's saying something. Now it's not saying something, I just scream, and in this there are two voices. My voice and a much deeper vibrating one that lifts the sound. Est-ce que c'est assez suffisant? Est-ce que c'est assez puissant pour te détruire ici-bas devant moi? Thank you, everybody. That's all the time we had today for this rehearsal. Can we bring the lights up? Yes, super. Thank you so much. Thank you.